10 seconds remaining.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to MPGL 7. We're in the quarterfinals. We got Skyville on the dire side going up against the currently untagged Mineski, but hey, they're all Mineski, they're all here. Mikelorus is going to be joined by Daneliecasts for the second series of the day. How are you doing?
It's good. It's been a while since we've casted together, but I'm super excited.
You sound excited. Very
excited.
I
am. Skewed sleep schedule. Things happen. I'm going to sound okay. It's fine. When we get into some action, I think everything should be good. But I didn't get to see Skyville's previous series. How did they do against WePlay?
I feel like it was less of Skyville playing well and more of WePlay playing very poorly. Like, this first game, WePlay just went super aggressive early on before they should have, and Skyville just got a whole bunch of kills, and then they kind of just won in 20 minutes. And the second game, WePlay just never pressured an anti-mage, and we all know what happens when you do that. So I feel like this is going to be a little bit more of an accurate testing ground for Skyville, since last time the competition wasn't exactly fierce in the last series.
Okay, so we'll see how they meet my expectations. We had previous stats for Skyville from CorruptDropBear, and I think they played in the Shanghai qualifiers, but didn't.
WePlay
go
did,
that
and they
far.
got knocked out, I think, round of 32, and Skyville didn't. So they just they're new or something.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
maybe we've got some talent on our hands.
The quarterfinals, that's not bad.
Exactly. Wow. Well, we'll see how Skyville does up against Mineski. We've seen Mineski play. Did you get to watch Mineski during the Shanghai qualifiers, or did you just stick around to watch NA mostly?
Yeah, I was not going to stay up and watch the
No.
Asian region games.
Alrighty then. That's no biggie.
That's all you, man. I'm not in the right time zone for that shit.
I didn't watch C either, actually. I had a really bad sleeping pattern, and by the time I got to watch it, it was close to EU times. So unfortunately, my sleep schedule has not been accommodating to C. Although for today has been pretty good. It's normally when EU starts, so
it's a convenient
we'll
excuse right there.
Not an excuse, just saying. But anyways, I guess we'll jump into the draft. Slardar first pick up for Skyville. This is very last patch, honestly. Nothing wrong with Slardar, but typically Death Prophet is one of the most picked heroes in the meta now.
Really? I've seen her a handful of times. I mean,
Since
I would rather
Shanghai
have an Invoker on
qualifiers.
my side almost 10 times out of 10, which is still available here for Mineski if they want to grab that. But I think, like, weirder than that have been Skyville's bans. Like, last match they banned Meepo really weirdly. Like, WePlay haven't had any Meepo games on record, so I don't know what that was about. They also second banned in the first phase in Alchemist, which is not something you do in Dota anymore.
Okay. All right.
So I don't know. I don't know what our bans are gonna look like this time. But Skyville's first pick Slardar, not with Vengeful Spirit available. They could grab Slardar, have a very easy time roshing on the dire side. They should probably consider building around that somewhat.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe they can pick up a Dazzle for their support too, to really amp up the minus armor. Doesn't help against Rosh, but it would be great for team fights as well as sustain. Unless people pick up the infamous Oracle instead, who does everything just as well as a Dazzle, maybe even better to a certain degree, although you don't get armor. But the defensive and aggressive capabilities of an Oracle is really strong this patch. Although we haven't really seen any new heroes now, because we're looking at a Disruptor second pick and Jug and Tusk first two picks for Mineski. So maybe C's a little bit behind in terms of the meta.
Well, Doom's banned out. I think we could call him a new hero. He's reworked enough to call him new. At least I will.
He's not new.
He's
new-ish.
Newer than everyone else in the current pick pool right now. But like Earth Spirit was banned out first in the last game, I think by WePlay both times. I'm not sold on that hero. Lone Druid and Invoker are like the two, and I guess Vengeful Spirit are the three that are really getting big right now, and not really sure if we're going to see that right now. It is possible, I think, for Mineski. They already have the Juggernaut. Skyville, a safe lane Lone Druid, if that's going to be really a hero that they want to grab. But yeah, it doesn't seem like there's a ton of room for the Druid this time. Invoker, though, is still a real big pickup for either side, really.
Yeah, I would agree that one of the teams should pick up an Invoker here. He's just so great. Whereas for Lone Druid, he's not a hero that teams pick up and see. So I honestly think Lone Druid's going to get through the entire pick ban phase not touched. Just because very few teams practice Lone Druid in general. He's a great hero in EU and NA right now. It's just that C hasn't really experimented with the hero as of yet. Because, you know, you don't deal with it, so why should you learn it?
Yeah, there's been a lot of different metas developing, and usually it's kind of like that. Like you would have teams more high on one hero than other regions, but this, for like right now and for the upcoming tournaments or whatever, it's going to be a lot more pronounced. So it's kind of concerning if you're a C team and you never pick Lone Druid, it's just not on your radar, and then suddenly you're up against Team Europe and they first pick Lone Druid and you're like, oh shit, what the hell do we do against that? We better brush off our Brewmaster and figure out how to play that guy again. But it's not going to be any of those heroes listed above. The bans are looking a little bit normal, or normaler, more so than last series. We got in a Abaddon third pick here from the Mineski side. Their sustain is going to be really off the charts. Killing off any of these heroes is going to be a huge hassle.
Yeah, but you have to consider that because you pick up the Abaddon, your other support is going to be a little bit weaker in lane, depending on how you're really going to set the supports. Is it going to be a roaming support? Is it going to be a lane support if you're supposed to really babysit the jug? Which, honestly, you don't have to. Unless there's a chance here that they aggressive tri-lane with the jug, then I can understand the Abaddon pick a little bit more, because you have the sustain, you've got the jug that's got his own built-in sustain, magic immunity. It'll be very hard for Skyville to really contest a tri-lane, because Disruptor is actually really bad in aggressive tri-lane scenarios. Very easy to pick off and very fragile.
Yeah, especially when the only like tools you have are up against a Juggernaut. Don't do anything up against a Juggernaut. None of his skills work through that Blade Fury. You can cancel a glimpse through Blade Fury. It's really difficult to deal with that as Disruptor. Juggernaut, Abaddon, +1. It is kind of a clunky lane. They'll need some sort of hero to start that, and usually that hero is going to be someone like a Disruptor, someone like a Vengeful Spirit, some sort of play stun in order to start with the Blade Fury. But yeah, I don't know. They do have options right now, Mineski, but their options will also have to be including this mid lane, because Skyville do get their hands on the Invoker. So if you do run an offensive tri-lane, there may or may not be Sunstrikes heading your way as well. So I don't know. It's possible for sure, depending on the last support they pick, assuming Tusk is going to be core. But it seems like right now they should probably be planning around safe lane Juggernaut, like have an Abaddon pseudo jungle support role.
Yeah, I could see that happening as well. Unless, I know Mineski occasionally runs Juggernaut mids, but that's typically up against other melee mids. So yeah, if it's not going to be aggressive tri-lane, definitely safe lane for the Jug. Skyville looking for another support. Rubik, Witch Doctor, 2 supports that we normally see picked up. That could be pretty attractive. What do you think about Rubik this game for Mineski?
Yeah, Rubik seems pretty good up against Skyville's heroes. Like, they have so many good things to steal, and lifting up a Slaughdar, that's pretty much the best answer you could ask for. An instantaneous disable, non-negotiable. It's kind of a low damage hero. Like, whenever you have an Abaddon, you're already kind of going to be on the lower end of damage, and Rubik doesn't exactly contribute to that either. Yeah, it is one of those heroes that's good up against Skyville, but not good with what Mineski have right now. They really do need some sort of other significant damage output hero, and I think it is actually looking maybe a little bit more like a mid-Juggernaut. Like, it's kind of greedy up against Invoker. Things can get really bad there, but with only a Disruptor to worry about, there's not that much that Skyville have that can be thrown towards that mid lane. Although Shadow Shaman is the 4th pick. I feel like they have the opportunity right now, Mineski, to pick up something very aggressive 5th, like an Ejikiro, mix up their lanes, and then just go for straight-up push.
I would honestly have no issues with that either. Just go straight for push. Skyville doesn't really have the best counter push either. Disruptor is probably one of the worst counter push supports in the game. Invoker's reasonable. Slaughdar can't do jack. So that could be an opening for Mineski if they want to delve into that route. Is there a chance here that they maybe pick up a Nature's Prophet?
Yeah, it's definitely more likely this game than in some others. I think it's another one of those heroes that the C region isn't huge on, at least right now. But I mean, seems like the game for it. They will have enough pushing power. They'll have enough sustain with the Juggernaut and the Abaddon. Skyville should know that this is coming, so Gyrocopter probably one of the easier picks that they can make. Just any hero that can be fight ready early on. Ooh.
Ooh, I got no problems with this though. They've got a second initiator outside of the Slaughter. But he isn't great for push still, so it doesn't solve the push problem. But it could be a window for Skyville to sort of break through Mineski's lineup when they go for the push and go for surprise initiations if the Sand King gets a decent Blink Dagger timing.
Getting on top of a Shadow Shaman as a Sand King is just such a huge deal. And you of course pave the road for the Invoker and the Slaughter to make their entrance in as well. The problem here for Skyville is that Sand King usually is going to have to either roam a lot, like get boots first, be joined by a Vengeful Spirit or Visage or something like that and get kills in order to get his farm, or just straight up jungle. And the jungle doesn't look like it's going to be super clear right now. Like, every single one of the Mineski heroes can roam around and at least mess with the Sand King's stacking and whatnot. Clearing the stacks and stealing them, it's a different story entirely, but the Sand King may have some difficulty getting his early game farm up against what Mineski have right now. And he's not really in a great situation, Sand King, to go aggressive as far as pickoffs are concerned. So I feel like the Sand King, even though if he hits mid-game, he'll be really good, may not be able to hit his Blink Dagger timings very quickly. Mineski,
and Lina
last.
So not only do they have amazing push, they now have amazing kill potential with the Lina Laguna Blade. This is rather scary for Skyville. But again, as we said before, if Skyville can get decent Blink Dagger timings or at least a good wraparound, they can definitely rip into Mineski's lineup because they've got a lot of fragile heroes. Shadow Shaman and Lina, to name a few of them. Tusk, he's still going to be there for the save factor. Juggernaut's going to be very difficult to gank. I think that's one thing we also have to note with the laning phase as well. If it's going to be a roaming Sand King or Disruptor, you have to say that Juggernaut would be a no-go when it comes to the gank department. He is just going to be too difficult to gank. Lina, on the other hand, would be a very good target to shut down early for Skyville. Spectre last pick, I'm not on board with this. They want to go late game.
This is greedy, man. Like,
yep.
This Spectre, if she does get to the late game, you are going up against a Lina and a Shadow Shaman. Very easy heroes to kill off. So those are pretty much free ones for the Spectre once she gets her Radiance and her Manta Style and whatnot. I don't think she's going to get enough time to actually get to that stage. Like, we were talking about Death Prophet before. This would have been a great one. A great time to pick Death Prophet for the Mineski side. So, you know, maybe if this was a different region with these first 4 picks, DP would be last. But either way, they have so much aggressive power right now. They're going to be playing around the Shadow Shaman wards, and they're going to give Royer some extra farm, if I saw that correctly. Is he playing the Abaddon?
He is, yes. Rio is playing the Abaddon. Oh, got some disconnects. And a language I don't speak, so I cannot translate that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I can't do that either. But either way, well, we'll see how much farm the heroes on the Mineski side are going to get. But really, there's not much that the Dire side can do to actually significantly pressure. Like, Sand King is a good start, but Sand King Disruptor isn't fantastic, especially when the cores that can help out. It's like, it has to be Sunstrike and nothing else, because unless there's a hero really out of position, Spectre can't really do a ton. Slaughter has a stun, so they have a couple of right clicks, but there's so much sustain on the Radiant side. I think I'm going to favor Mineski's draft pretty heavily here, like 70-30.
Hands down. I absolutely agree with you there. Mineski's draft just looks much more solid. With the laning phase for Mineski, because Skyville is playing aggressive, I'm actually expecting them to go for dual lanes here for Mineski. So potentially bring in the Tusk and the Abaddon up top, leaving the Shadow Shaman and Juggernaut down bottom. And it means all lanes will be secured and all lanes have kill potential, just because of the heroes that are going to be running through them.
Jesse
it wouldn't be greedy.
Has some interesting opening items. Sentries, of course, anti-Sand King tech there. If you drop a sentry, the neutrals for some reason get the true sight as well. Don't ask why that happens, it just does, so that's a pretty good tool. He also has a very early smoke, so this Tusk maybe is going to be joining Jules' Shadow Shaman, who has boots first as well. So Tusk and Shadow Shaman on the roam, it's certainly one of the more dangerous combinations out there. If you're going to be ganking a lane with a Lina or a Juggernaut, whoever gets hit with that snowball is pretty much screwed.
So for the moment, it seems that Skyville, they've only got 2 waiting for the top rune. Oh, never mind, they've got 3. They've got Tim's wrapping around from the top side, and that should be a secured rune, unless Mineski really wants to contest it. Although Skyville's level 1 heroes are not the best when it comes to contesting, so bottom will be going in the way of Jug. And let's see how this rune's gonna go on as Tim's, he wants it, but he sees all these heroes and he says, yeah, this is not my rune.
Shards will catch the Sand King, but he has a Burrow Strike, so he's not going to die here. He's actually going to take a lot of damage. It's a lot of damage. Just a lot of free damage from Jesse Bash, but either way, yeah, Burrow Strike level 1 on the Sand King. Not a great level 1 brawling tool. He does have Boots First as well, so Sand King may be looking to apply a little bit of pressure towards this Lina. Invoker, once he gets level 3, can do some serious work against this Lina, but up until then, it's gonna be really difficult for the Sand King to actually do anything versus that Lina, especially when Jesse Vash is always here and they're always gonna be fighting. Pretty sure Tusk just wins this, has 2 less damage, 1 more armor, but he's not actually fighting back. This guy is serious pacifist mode right now, and is he actually dead here? There's another Burrow Strike. Boots first on the Sand King. Shards will not really help. In fact, it'll help the Sand King. A couple more right clicks. Jesse Vash has to dig his way through. It's not gonna happen. He gives up first blood.
Jesse Vash, what
he could have
was
just
that?
run away, right?
He could have, but he decided to go north, and then he saw that there was going to be a wraparound from Grimto. Then he goes into the jungle, and then he tried to go for a cute play, and then instead he just ends up suiciding. That was a play that should not have happened from Jesse Vash. On the level that he plays, it shouldn't happen. They're gonna get a kill onto Grimto though. Actually, Royo might die in the process. He gets the kill at least and popped, but doesn't keep him alive though. Tim's gets a final strike as well. 1 for 1. Support for the farming Abaddon. This is not going to be something I'm used to, but mid lane, they're going to try and go for a kill. They get it.
Level 1 Burrow Strike. It's set up by a Tornado and a Cold Snap. At least there's some setup here. But yeah, I was not expecting Sand King to get this much done. Killing off Alina is certainly not super difficult. They're going to try to go for Tim's up towards top, but seems like Jesse Vash is just short of having a snowball. It is just going to be this Abaddon and Tusk dual lane, which honestly is what it should have been from the beginning as far as applying pressure to the Spectre. It's enough to make the Spectre worried, but now giving up a couple kills to the Sand King, he's already level 2, and the closer he gets to level 3, it really is a point where he can choose to get Sandstorm and then start stacking and then, you know, do regular Sand King things. Grabbing level 2 Burst Strike means that he's so much more dangerous. They're going to wrap around over in mid. LSA to land. Dragon Slave nowhere close to being able to get that kill, although with the right clicks, seems like even with the Fairy Fire, not going to be enough. Jules, though, and Cuckoo both taking tower shots. Cuckoo's going to die to the tower. The Natsu has a chance for a Burrow Strike in just 5 mana, and Jules is not fast enough to actually escape this. He's going to chug a Clarity, but here comes the Burrow Strike right now. And a couple more right clicks. Yeah, I don't think you can escape this. No, Sand King's going to grab a double kill. This Sand King is 4-0-0. That's his Arc Boots. Top lane, they're going to snowball into Tim's. He's completely trapped in. Even Courier going to show its face, but no, he actually walked through with the dagger, barely getting out of there. Grimto is going to pop the shield, do a lot of damage to himself. Royer trying to bait them in. And Jesse Vash doing quite a lot of damage. Now Royer hit with the Thunder Strike. That is going to get purged off by the shield. Now Tim's, well, he's going a little bit deep. There is the Curse of Avernus here. Tim's going to get the shield explosion, shards, and that's going to get the kill. Royer's still alive. And now Jesse Vash, one more punch is going to kill off the Disruptor. Over towards mid lane in the meantime, Cuckoo's going to get EMP Tornado. Burrow Strike as well. He's just going to get insta-killed. What is going on in this game? I think slightly better for Mineski, but losing the Lina again is expensive.
I would say Skyville is doing very well with this roaming Sand King. He's got 5 kills under his belt with that Lina kill going his way. This guy's got so much gold. And this is good news for Skyville because it means that the Sand King can keep on roaming, he can be super aggressive, and he's not falling behind in terms of levels. He's got a load of gold in his pockets, so we could see a decent timing on the Blink Dagger, assuming that he doesn't die, because you now have to remember that the Sand King has a streak under his name. So if he dies, then he's going to be giving a streak away. But I think for Skyville, they're, to a certain degree, getting away with their lanes. Whether they're being greedy or not, they haven't really been that punished by Mineski so far because they've been so busy with the Sand King and also just being ganked all over the place, especially top lane. Wouldn't have expected a Spectre Disruptor lane to play very aggressive against Jesse Vash and Rio up here.
I mean, Abaddon is a deceptively tanky hero. He just has the health pool, has the armor, and you know, it is itemized to be kind of fight ready and even juke ready. However, factoring in level 4 Sand King and Royer's survivability is going to be really testing its limits. Sand King's gonna have a Burrow Strike angle onto Jesse Vash. Looks like they want Royer instead. Burrow Strike is gonna land. He does have a shield up. Snowball is there. Lots of damage being done to the Sand King in the midst of this, but this is a brawl that I'm not really sure the Dire should be taking right now. Royer just has to wait for another shield. Slaughter's gonna sprint in, actually crush Jesse Vash. Royer still taking shots. Then the Spectre's gonna put up another shield, which will pop and kill the Disruptor. Jesse Vash now has to try to escape from Van, but there's another crush coming down. There it is, and another couple right clicks. Yeah, they're gonna get the Tusk as well. It does force 4 heroes to come towards the top lane, but Slaughter wasn't getting any farm in the bottom lane anyway, so it's perfectly fine for Van to make that rotation. Jules is going to arrive up towards top way too late.
I love this reaction coming out from Skyville so far. They know that there's been a lot of pressure up top, and because they're running a Spectre, they want to make sure that the Spectre has the best time possible. And as you said, the Slaughter wasn't getting anything down bottom, comes up top, and helps them secure a couple of kills at least. So for Van to get assist kills, or actually he didn't even get an assist, he got a kill under his belt. It's good for Van, sorry, because unfortunately for a Slaughter off lane, he can't necessarily jungle, just because the hero, his skill set doesn't allow it. He's just not the best jungler in the game. So to rotate like that, it just helps him out. And mid, again,
get baited by Cuckoo, but Cuckoo has no mana actually, so right clicks and shock. Oh, I don't think it's enough. No. Yeah, Kev's gonna be just fine. And then Jules, don't go that way. There's a Sand King in that direction. There's the Cold Snap and EMP. With the Cold Snap, I think they have enough damage to get this kill. They do. One more right click, yeah. And Kev's just perfectly baiting for this for the Sand King. This Sand King's doing so much right now. 602 is gonna have like the fastest Blink Dagger of all time.
Raging Potato wants to get an Omni Slash onto either Kev's. Actually, getting the kill onto the Sand King here would be huge, but he's got Sandstorm.
Yeah, now they're both invis.
Both invis.
Top though.
And that's
gonna find Grimto with the shards. Catch him. Tower's still firing at Royer, but he has borrowed time, so he's just not gonna die ever. This is a really streamlined top lane where they're just constantly pressuring the Spectre. Really, any other hero would have a much better time here, but now they're looking at the Sand King. They don't have any detection though. And Raging Potato's sitting in Sandstorm. Bro, please. Oh, they see the Burrow Strike. They get the Hex off. They have to spin. There's no mana for Omni Slash now. Crush is going to interrupt the channel, and the Haunt from Spectre is going to come in. Jules is going to take the dagger to the dome. Raging Potato now is an Omni Slash target, but it's not enough damage. Perfect Burrow Strike for Natsu. Double kill for the Sand King. And Mineski, they're really trying to greed this one up, but end up giving the Sand King his Blink Dagger pretty much.
Oh my, this game has just been a complete disaster for Mineski. They had a great draft, which we both thought was going to dominate the game, and then we're looking at a score of 6 to 11. So Skyville was getting the better end of their trade. They're getting ridiculously early Blink Dagger timings, or at least Sanking we had in a moment. This is very scary for Mineski now, because this, like, normally for Skyville, if they were playing the game typically and that everything was coming at a decent timing, then it would normally be Spectre just getting really late items. But in this case, Spectre can really fall back to the Sand King now, just because the Sand King is not only over-leveled, he's also got a load of items. So the impact of this Sand King is going to be huge. Like, he's going to get the early level into Epicenter, and because everyone's so squishy this early on, they could get decimated very easily.
Oh, Grimto. Top lane, tried to go for the deny, is going to pay for it with his life. Snowball's going to bring them all into the field. With the Curse of Avernus, I think they could stick on him enough to get this kill. They will be able to. Royer actually has level 2 Curse and Phase Boots and Drums on the way, I would imagine, with this Bracer. So escaping the Abaddon once he's caught you once is going to be really difficult, but Invoker is coming in. Well, Sand King's going to grab another kill on the Juggernaut this time. No Epicenter needed, just him and Slaughter. I was watching the wrong fight, apparently. Juggernaut should not be picked off in that fashion, but I guess now they know that the Sand King has his Blink.
Oh god. This is a very scary situation. Top. No one's going to die yet. Just as long as Spectre doesn't go to that creep wave. And Tim's he's got the idea, he's thinking, if I go anywhere near those creeps, I'm probably going to die. So he's going to jungle instead. But if we take a look at net worth, we've got Sand King sitting on top at 4k net worth. This is a roaming support Sand King. You would think he was position 1 at this point.
Well, you can kill Cuckoo right now if the Epicenters. He's going to play it cautious again. He's holding a huge streak right now. And is there any True Sight? No, still no True Sight. There's a fast Potato here, but they're not fast enough to catch up to the Sand King, so he's going to keep that streak. This is, like, really good for the Sand King that he has the Blink, but he really doesn't want to be holding a streak right now. Sand King kind of is a hero, just wants to be a little bit suicidal to get the perfect Epicenter off, so it's going to be a lot of gold that will eventually be coming the way of Mineski, and outside of the Sand King issue that they have to deal with, their CS is actually looking really good. Lina's now leading the Invoker, Juggernaut's leading the Spectre very easily, and the Abaddon's having a fantastic time. So yeah, it's kind of rough for Mineski, but as long as they kill off this Sand King, break his streak, then they should be fine moving forward. Sand King also has an epicenter. He's going to jump right into Cuckoo, Burrow Strike, and Sunstrike. Kablamo!
Rip.
Beyond godlike.
This guy is enormous. To get us for Sand King now to be able to solo kill a mid Lina, or at least a mid hero. I'm not too sure what Mineski's going to be able to do. If they can get a kill not onto just the Sand King, but also at least start taking objectives, then the game wouldn't be that bad. But they've only taken one. Missed Burrow Strike on the Sand King, so he's going to have to cop a full spin. But at this point, he's just so tanky, he doesn't care.
There's still no dust or sentries or anything for the Radiant. I feel like that should be coming up by now, but it's not.
Well, they're going to try and go for an aggressive play. We've got a two-man smoke heading up top for the Spectre. Now, Spectre is not looking particularly tanky, so here comes a snowball. So they have enough burst damage to take him down at least. They're slowly cutting through him, and that should be enough. No, he lives on 10 HP! Spectre gets out, and all of a sudden, Van comes in with Kevs. They get a kill into the task, and now they're going to jump onto Rio, who's already used the borrowed time. Going to try and man-fight Kevs, but here comes the Sand King. Burrow Strike Kablow. And that's going to be another kill under the belt for Skyville, whilst saving their beloved Spectre. Zeus ult, please.
Oh man, Spectre getting maybe a little bit lucky there, just a little bit luckier high-low roll or something like that. Abaddon got Burrow Struck mid-shield cast, which I don't know if it would have been enough to kill off the Invoker, but there's definitely a possibility that was going to happen. Usually, you can kill off a Spectre who has nothing. Like, she has 1 point dispersion, which I guess is going to help her, but she really doesn't have that much going her way right now, but having the reinforcements, that's good enough. They're going to actually deploy Serpent Wards for the top lane, or for the bottom lane tier 2, rather. The heroes aren't really in place for this. Grimtoe's going to defend, Natsu's clearly here as well, but they're going to maybe think about jumping in on this. Sand King, again, has a huge bounty on his head. There's the Hex. Shackle's there as well. Snowball follow-up. Walrus Punch. Sand King not dead yet. Serpent Ward shot still not dead. 75 HP. They finally dust, but it's not going to help. Grimtoe is going to get caught behind, and with the coil, they'll grab the kill on the Disruptor. It's something, I guess. It's not bad. Tornado EMP is going to clip onto Royer, it looks like. No, he dodges the EMP, and the Serpent Wards, at least 3 of them, are still firing. They're going to get the tower. Mineski, yeah, they force the Sand King out. There is no defense here. They'll grab a tier 2 tower. That's actually a pretty large pickup for them, considering how poor all these fights have been going for the Mineski side.
They had to grab that tower. If they didn't, then this game is definitely not going to be an easy one for Mineski. So they get a T2, right, which is great. They still need to take down the rest of the T2s, and I think by the time that Mineski starts going for the other T2s, Skyville is going to be ready to fight. They've got Blink on the 2 main initiators, which is huge. Because you take a look at Mineski's lineup, they're all very fragile and very easy to really kill off heroes. So you just jump on top of them, Burrow Strike, Epicenter, Crush, and that's probably half their HP gone. Follow up with the rest of Skyville's heroes, and Mineski can easily get picked off. So to have such an item advantage for Skyville, they lose a T2, which is okay. But from now on, they're going to start roaming around as 4, and they're going to kill off Mineski because they have all the tools necessary to pick off Mineski. Now, we'll see if this is going to be a successful smoke gang, because they are moving in as a 4-man unit, and we've got the Haunt available, so Spectre can come in if necessary.
They see Royer. He has borrowed time, so he's not really the target they want to go for. Again, with all this being said, Skyville are in a decent spot, but still the net worth being led by the Juggernaut, Lina, and Abaddon, so it's not all going perfectly for them. They have to make these team fight ultimates count, and by that I mean, Static Storm, the Epicenter, the Haunt, and everything that the Invoker has. If they're not perfect, things can be very bad. Tower is going to be destroyed. Royer is going to shield up. However, now he's completely out of mana. They're going to drop the Serpent Wards. Just try to get some space in the backlines. In the meantime, Cuckoo's taking a lot of damage. Will die to the Sandstorm. Jesse Bash also doesn't really have much to do here. He's going to get burned down immediately afterwards. Royer and Jules in a lot of trouble. Burrow Strike is there. Jules, even under his tier 1 tower, is going to get torn to shreds. Royer is still alive, still has borrowed time. But Tim's, he's taking tower shots, but he's not going to die just yet. Omni Slash is there. Will not bounce to the Spectre, who's still going to survive. And Royer does somehow slip away from everyone else, but he still has no mana. Tim's is going to teleport out. He'll survive as well. Blink 4 from the Sand King. He's going to pop the borrow time. But now Royer actually going to grab a haste rune. This is really bad. Do they have any True Sight? Invoker doesn't have an Invoke for 10 seconds. Raging Potato has a spin. They have Curse of Avernus, so they can stick on him, but the Juggernaut seemingly not quick enough. with the Wex orbs. Invoker is going to get out of there. Nanatsu still in the area. Spin is there onto 2 heroes, doing quite a lot of damage. Royer, Tornado will connect, will not kill, however. 7 stick charges. Now they drop the healing ward. Jesse Bash going to arrive, going to save everyone from the epicenter, at least most of it. They're going to go straight towards the Invoker, grab the kill there. They still can't see the Sand King. Raging Potato now going to get worked down by the Spectre. Desolate damage, chalking it up for Raging Potato. Yes, they're going to grab yet another kill. Nanatsu still not dying. Jules, he's gonna get the Hex up. There's the shock. Natsu's Pro Strike out. He's still not dying. Shard Snipe? No. Slightly off the mark. They need just like one more right click snowball or something. No, he can't do it. Sand King literally cannot die right now. They do have Grimto stuck in the forest right now, but the Desolate once again gonna go to work onto Jesse Vash. Shards will kill off the Disruptor. Cuckoo not in range for anything else. But all of that being said, I don't know the total tally. It definitely wasn't a 2 for 3, as the fight recap is indicating right now, but they're going to find another one. Can they finally kill off the Sand King? One more right click, they still don't have True Sight. Tornado comes in as soon as the dust is launched, and the Sand King, somehow still alive, is maybe even going to turn around for a kill into Jules. No, Kev seems like he'll do it just fine. Oh, Sandstorm is there. Beyond Gothic 3, 14-0-3. I don't know what to say about this Sand King. I feel like Mineski aren't playing perfectly around him. Like, the lack of detection is really helping the Sand King here, but at the same time, man, he's doing some serious work.
Jules almost killed him. He was halfway through the Ether Shock animation. That's how close he was. This guy, okay, the Sand King is living his life on the edge. He could be a daredevil if he wants to. Just quit Dota 2 and just move into the daredevil industry because he's been getting away with so much this game. Oh my goodness. But for Skyville, the net worth isn't looking that great for them still, right? Even though they're getting these kills, they're not really getting on top of Mineski yet. So we're not going to count Mineski out yet. They're still going to apply pressure, but they have to somehow start respecting some of these Skyville heroes. And unfortunately, it's not going to be positioning anymore because the Blink Daggers are still going to be a problem. So what would you say Mineski would have to do in this situation? Do they potentially just go for a smoke, pick off one of Skyville, and then try to go for a push? Because Skyville's been very strong as a team, not just individually.
Like that last fight where Mineski were really separated should be what they're trying to do. As long as Cuckoo doesn't get like insta-gibbed as the first thing to happen in the fight, then I think Mineski should be fine taking these engagements. Just straight up engagements, like, keep separated for the most part so you don't get hit with the epicenter and whatnot, but they have the power of Laguna Blade and Omni Slash, and both those tools usually, once used, get your team a kill. And they have an Abaddon who's, super disruptive right now, has Vlads and drums. He can just stick onto one target non-stop, and Spectre still isn't really a threat until she gets her Relic, and she's not really close to that right now. So Mineski, they should be in an okay spot as long as they avoid these ultimates. But going into Roche is the easiest point for Skyville to actually jump in and use their ultimate, so this may be really, really bad for Mineski if Skyville make a beeline for it right now.
No, the very lucky thing for Mineski there was right before Mineski went into the Roche pit, Invoker already used the Sunstrike, so he checked it, then Mineski went in. They didn't know, obviously, but it was just very good timing for Mineski. So it's going to be the Aegis already taken. And now Skyville, they know there's an Aegis on the side of Mineski. Are they going to be hesitant now, knowing that there's going to be the Aegis?
Aegis, when you're leaning this hard on your ultimates, is going to be really difficult to deal with. If you EMP the Juggernaut, you can still just kind of ignore him and leave him in that fight and not focus him down. But other than that, Skyville will have to, land even more heroes in those ultimates. So Aegis is going to be difficult to play around, but it seems like they are confident enough to just straight up go for another push. Mineski can probably race them, at least for one tower, since they have... Well, actually, they don't have Serpent Wards. I don't think they could actually race them, especially without Juggernaut here.
Yeah, so that's going to be an easy tower for Skyville, whereas Mineski trade, obviously... Yeah, they have Curse, so it's still good here. I did not know Curse affects towers now, by the way, so this is actually pretty new to me. I guess it's just because we don't see Abaddon anymore.
And he never attacks towers, because he has to be the healer. But when you're gonna man up and play Abaddon the right way, or this way, then you get to see how powerful Curse of Avernus actually is.
I'm really glad they made the change though, because previously when it didn't work on towers, there was just no point hitting towers as an Abaddon. Because, just being in that support position. Now here we go, Crush. Oh, not quite there under Raging Potato Van. Hexed up. Not going to be there though, but here comes the Haunt. They have 100% vision. And it seems like for now, Skyville don't really want to jump in. Haunt is down now. And they've still got the Serpent Ward. So they're going to keep on going towards this tower. Omni Slash going to bounce between only the Disruptor. He gets melted. And that's going to be an easy tower. Is Skyville going to back completely out of this fight, knowing that without the Disruptor, even though he's not a huge factor, it's just best not to really push the issue.
There's no Disruptor, but at the same time, there's no Omni Slash. It should be Mineski just to reset, rearm, get their cooldowns back up. Actually, Serpent Wards and Omni Slash are the only ultimates that were used there, so get those up and then try to pressure even more. Sand King's high ground defense is pretty substantial. We can see even with the score of 14-0-5, that's a great thing for the Sand King, for sure. I mean, he's having some really padded stats, but outside of that, every single kill that the Sand King gets is another kill that the Spectre doesn't get. And she is getting closer to the Relic, getting closer to the Radiance, but with the momentum of Mineski right now, the Sand King having farm isn't really a huge threat. The Sand King with Blink Dagger gold, like with 2200 net worth compared to 7300 net worth, isn't really that high. Like Point Booster, whatever, man. He's not really going to be doing that much with these items.
Yeah, and he's also going for the Aghanim Scepter too on the Sand King, which they've changed it in the most recent patch to just be a very long burrow strike range. It's not the enhanced epicenter damage. I would have honestly preferred if the Sand King went for a Veil of Discord here, just because they're doing so much magical burst right now that not only is Sand King going to be doing extra epicenter damage, but it also benefits Kevs on the Invoker, as well as Grimtoad with the Static Storm. Because Mineski still isn't very tanky, their heroes are still very fragile, and if they get caught in all of that magical damage with the Veil of Discord on top of it, they could really just melt through all of that damage.
Yeah,
so,
or get a Force Staff or something like that, just to protect yourself against the Curse of Avernus and the Snowball. I feel like the Aghanim Scepter upgrade on Burrow Strike, like, the range is ridiculous once you get it, but you're spending so much gold for range. And
it's interesting, right? It's just range. That's the only thing it does.
So, like, it's freaking huge, but is that really going to help you land, like, 4-man Burrow Strikes? I don't, like, if you're going to land a 4-man Burrow Strike, you're going to land it no matter what range you have on the Burrow Strike, because you have a Blink Dagger. I feel like it's pretty much just a waste of gold outside of the stats. Like, right now, the Epicenter damage, Aghanim Scepter upgrade would be so much more useful.
Yeah. Unless you want to use the Burrow Strike more as a maneuverability spell as well. So not just for the initiation, obviously, but you can use it as a sort of free Force Staff. 11-second cooldown Force Staff too, I suppose. But
then just get Force Staff.
Exactly. So it's like he's trying to make the most of an item to make it multi-purpose where it's not supposed to be. Hey, Royer can do this. He's got a Plate Mail and he's also got Borrowed Time.
Fields doesn't care. Just gonna keep laying down that curse. Raging Potato gonna help out, of course. They see the Sand King perfectly. Some random melee creep is on his tail, and they're gonna disrupt the Blink Dagger as best they can. At least Royer will. They dust him up, so they will see him, and they're gonna take down range Raxes. There is no great opportunity here for the dire side. Blinking, crush the Raging Potato, Static Storm onto the Juggernaut as well. He's gonna lose all of his mana pool right now, but as long as they have a Snowball, I don't see them dying right now. They do use the Haunt. Not really going to do a ton right now, and they finally get him with the Epicenter, but it's only on Jules. Burrow Strike in, going to land it on a couple more heroes. Jules will get beaten down. Now the Omni Slash is going to fly through. They'll finally kill off the Sand King, and now they're just going to charge forward, looking for a little bit more. Invoker can't get away from the Juggernaut. They'll lose 2, and that is going to give so much gold to the Juggernaut. And they'll take down Raxes. Blink Crush is going to nail down the Tusk, but they lost Raxes in the meantime. Cuckoo's going to Yule set up onto Van. The Laguna Blade's going to slay him, and now Tim's charging forward, but he only has drums. Deafening Blast is going to be really good from Kevs with the spin there. Still a lot of damage being thrown towards Grimto, and with the coil, they'll grab the kill there. Rage Potato still just charging the front. It is not taking any damage right now. I think everyone else can escape. Royer's going to get tornadoed up. That should not kill. It's going to be very close with the Juggernaut interfering. Kevs has got to back up, and Tim's can do nothing but watch right now. The Spectre still just isn't useful. Can now afford the Radiance, or the Relic at the very least, almost Radiance, but the Rax has already been taken. The damage has been done.
Oh gosh, this is such a terrible moment here for Skyville. They had such a great start. They actually have Vision of Raging Potato, who's moving very fast with his phase boots.
Blink.
Now, can they get the disable off? 1 second of the Burrow Strike blinks out. Oh, that's a missed opportunity. Oh, they see him, but Invoker's just too far away. So all he can do is Burrow Strike and back out. Rax is down. As you said, the Spectre still can't do anything because there's no Radiance. So they're going to have to protect from this one lane that's going to be consistently pushing. Spectre's not the best, unfortunately, till the Radiance comes online. They do manage to catch one in the mid lane, though, so Cuckoo should be dropping pretty quickly. Very nice pick off for Skyville. Now, are they going to transition this into a mid push, knowing that there is no Aegis anymore?
I mean, there is still no
I think they have
Omnislash.
to.
I'm not sure if they know about that, but this tower is like so weak anyway, so they might as well get this tower. But is that even gonna do it? Like, is the Radiance on Spectre even gonna make a significant change? Because usually when you have Radiance on Spectre, your targets are gonna be the supports. Shadow Shaman, he has Aether Lens, so he's got the spell resistance versus that whatever you call it on the Radiance, the AoE damage, and he has his Aghanim Scepter almost completed, so he's very, very tanky, at least as far as Shadow Shamans are concerned. They're gonna grab the tower and escape with everyone, but yeah, the Spectre doesn't really have any very easy assassination targets. Like, even there's an Aghanim Scepter on Lina. You cannot kill the Tusk and Abaddon super easily with the Haunt, so the Spectre's gonna need at least a Yasha. He's gonna find an angle on Jules, who's dropped the Serpent Wards kind of suicidally. He's gonna try to get Tim's, but you don't just drop Serpent Wards like this. It's a lot of free gold for Skyville.
Yeah, that was rather interesting. For minimal damage, I think at that point he was just trying to go for a quick solo kill on the Tims or anyone in the vicinity that was low. Didn't even get that, so he gives away Serpent Ward gold as well as his life, as you said. That was a bit of wasted time, honestly, from Jules to do that. So I guess at this point he just doesn't care, maybe. Maybe Mineski feels like they're quite far ahead, even though there's a Radiance on the Spectre, even though there's an Aghanim Scepter done on this Sand King, which we both agreed that we didn't like yet. So we'll see if it changes the aspect of the game. I'm not really feeling it yet.
Yeah,
I guess it's just
like,
because you haven't seen it yet.
that is true. Maybe that's because it's terrible. Just saying. I don't know. Like, even a Lotus would be... There's so many better items on Sand King. Like, Force Staff is amazing. I'm not sure if he's going to get 4,200 gold worth of value from having a long Burrow Strike.
It could have been Force Staff and a Veil, honestly.
Yeah, like, is this item going to be doing more work than a Force Staff will?
Actually, I want to put a little bit more emphasis onto Veil now, because you've got the Radiance. So if you got the Veil of Discord, then you would have extra Radiance damage going through. Oh my gosh, I wish you got a Veil of Discord. I'm sorry, Sand King. I just really, really, really like Veil of Discord.
I better be super impressed by this Aghanim. I think I'm more on Force Staff. You're more on Veil. We're both not on this item.
Yeah.
But man, Aghanim's on Invoker, I can get behind. Aghanim's on Shadow Shaman and Lina. Sign me up. Those are good. Those are good items. Those are good picks.
We're just not impressed yet. Well, we'll see if it does change the game. If it all of a sudden just completely changes the whole aspect of Sand King, then I'm fine with it. But to invest this much into a stunt, yeah, we both have our doubts.
Get Aghanim's on Abaddon. Probably not good this game, actually. On a core Abaddon, I feel like you don't want to be doing that. Oh, wow. What's the percentage on Ag's first item? Because I feel like most of the time Ag's is going to be the super late game pickup for Sand King after he has his mobility, like travels even up before that. But I don't know. Either way, it is going to be a Roshan attempt. This is number 2. And... for the Invoker, he hasn't thrown out a Sunstrike just yet. He's going to see him now with the Tornado. But, oh, they catch the Spectre with an Omnislash. That is not a good start. She does have buyback, and she does have Haunt. If they're forced into this fight, that would be a fight without an Omnislash to worry about. But they're walking into Serpent Wards. Royer can do this very easily by himself because he has the AC. Where's Van going all the way down to the south to catch Jesse Vash? He's out of mana completely, and he can't even get a single spell off. They do use up the Invoker right now. Static Storm's going to interrupt the combo here from Cuckoo. Burrow Strike in with the Epicenter. Cuckoo taking a lot of damage right now. They'll drop the Lina very quickly. Jules also going to get pinned down by Vans and Tims. They're still focusing onto the Roshan right now. Aegis grabbed by Raging Potato right now. Healing Ward up on the high ground. He's turning around, just swinging with the Battle Fury, cleaving onto everybody. He's not losing any HP right now because they don't even know where the Healing Ward is. Royer's also not losing any HP because of Borrowed Time. Is now going to finally take some focus fire. Raging Potato's doing way too much right now. He's going to spin onto 2. Van is going to get put into a blender. Is going to live after all. Royer, shield pop, not going to do it. They finally kill off the Healing Ward, but Royer, he's just going to turn around and race Kev's right now. Tornado's going to be invoked. Kev's still alive. Well, actually created the Abaddon. I didn't expect it to do that much damage, but the Blink Dagger is soon to be up. Ghost Walk's not up in 6 seconds. Raging Potato has Blink. He's going to need a couple of crits here. I don't think he's going to do it. Kev's now has Invis, and Spin not going to do enough. So it will be a pretty great trade, but it did force the buyback on the Spectre, and Raging Potato is still alive and still with Aegis.
Oh my goodness. Spectre almost died. Tim's got stuck on a small corner in the tree line. It was very tiny. It was roughly Did you see that circle on the map? It was just that corner. He was stuck in the corner. He wasn't able to move. And yet he just had the TP out of everything. Just because if he stuck around, there was a chance that he got spotted and obviously he would die. So Blink into Ags have been done 3 times this patch with a 66% win rate. So we've had one team lose with it.
Screw the stats. That sample size isn't large enough. I still think it's pretty terrible. They're gonna, well, Lina's gonna dodge the Bro Strike, not dodge the EMP, and now stuck in Cold Snap. Cuckoo is gonna need to land a 2-man LSA to get out of this, and not even gonna try.
Oh.
Well, Van's also here, so there's no escaping that. But while they're killing off Cuckoo, they're losing structures on the bottom lane because Raging Potato has a butterfly picked up. No Curse of Avernus active just yet, but tower down. Mikelorus is gonna get focused down. Are these Aghanim Serpent Wards? Not yet, but he's gonna blink forward. Missed Grimto because of Radiance, I think, but Rax is claimed, so Raging Potato doesn't actually care. The threat of Omnislash is keeping him safe right now, and Sand King's gonna come in from the side, Burrow Strike from long range onto Jesse Vashlo, grab the kill there. Jules also gonna be focused down, but he's already done his job. The Raxes are now entirely gone. Raging Potato stuck in the Static Storm. He's gonna get pushed out, in fact. They're gonna Laguna Blade. Tim's not enough damage to kill him off just yet. Nice Burrow Strike onto 2. Omnislash still flying through. Raging Potato's gonna grab a wicked 6 spree after all of this, and now he's gonna spin forward looking for a little bit more. He's got Grim 2 stuck in the corner. I don't think a Disruptor can survive this one. No, Glimpse, and then Blink and killed in 1 hit. Burrow Strike, Epicenter, lots of damage onto Cuckoo, but with the heal there from Abaddon, it's just not enough to kill off this Lina. A couple more crits onto this Cleave. 2 targets, Ultra Kill for Raging Potato. He's not going to get 5 just yet. Give him the 5th. Burrow Strike onto Cuckoo, they'll grab the kill there. Raging Potato, though, cannot be stopped. Rampage for the Juggernaut. Van, you don't want to tango with this Juggernaut, I promise you that. There's no Omnislash here, so it looks like Van should survive, but Raging Potato 13, 3, and 2. Is just going to work on everyone, and he's not really scared of anyone right now. He's going to go again towards Van. Roy, in the meantime, is going to chase forward for the Sand King. Got to use that insane Burrow Strike range to get out of there because Roy is right on your ass. He's pretty much free and clear. But here comes Jesse Vash. He's going to Walrus Punch to Slaughter, grab the kill beyond Godlike Spree, still on the Juggernaut. 14, 3, and 2, and this should be Megas. This should be game.
If this Spectre was any other mid-game carry, then the Skyville would have a chance in this game, but because they picked up a Spectre, it was just too much of a hero for them to really take on. Now they're gonna have the poor Sand King die.
The smack talk.
God. The smack talk. If only we knew what we said. If only we knew what they said.
The Invoker somehow, I'm sure. By the way, Raging Potato is literally fountain farming heroes right now, so there's that.
There's nothing wrong with it. Oh, so regardless of this amazing Sand King start that Skyville had, they just weren't able to really finish up the game. They never had the same push potential as Mineski. They never found the openings because they were so busy trying to make space for the Spectre that just came online way too late. And even though there was a great start for Skyville, Mineski was still farming. They still had very good net worth for the majority of the game. There was no point where Mineski was in a terrible position. They either kept the game even, or they were slightly ahead, even though there was a huge kill advantage to Skyville. So Mineski's still looking strong, whereas for Skyville, we'll see if they can come back in game 2. If they perform the same as game 1, if they have a different draft, then I'll say that Skyville has a better chance. But if they draft the same,
yeah,
I have my doubts.
I don't like the Spectre here. I think this result is pretty much expected. Like, Mineski are the pretty vast favorites here. Skyville also just couldn't ever land their ultimates properly. Like, the Epicenters were mediocre. The Static Storms were, I think, even a little bit worse than mediocre. They couldn't really capitalize on Haunt very well. It just seems like they had everything nailed down as far as the small-scale engagements are concerned, but when things were a little bit larger, and when Skyville should have had the advantage, they didn't because Mineski just outfought them. So, I don't know. Let's see if Skyville can bring it back, because this is a best of 3. Guys, I'm Mikelorus. I've been joined by Daneliecasts, and we'll both be right back for the second game between Mineski and Skyville. Don't go anywhere.